The North Country's history is hiding in plain sight. You see it in the ruins of old mills by the riverside, abandoned forges deep in the woods, and mine pits that have become unremarkable scars in the natural landscape. There's a very special mine near North Creek where beautiful dark red crystal was coaxed from the earth. The story behind the Barton Garnet mines on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Claxton Hepburn Medical Center, dedicated to providing patient care and regional services to the people of St. Lawrence County. claxtonhepburn.org.
Hey, I'm David Summerstein. It's Thursday, September 14th, coming to you from the back porch of the Coffee Cat Awesome Coffee Shop in downtown Plattsburgh, and you hear in the background some serious construction that's going on right downtown on Margaret Street. Whole road just torn up. First up, this year school meals will be free for students in much of the North Country because of a federal program, but not all districts will be able to offer universal free breakfast and lunch, and that means some students may fall through the cracks. Lucy Grindon reports.
Some students in New York qualify for free school meals automatically by meeting certain criteria, like being in the foster system, being unhoused, or receiving SNAP or Medicare. Under the federal Community Eligibility Provision Program, in any school district where 40% or more of students meet those criteria, all of the students in that district receive free meals. New York State committed to subsidizing the CEP program with $134 million in this year's budget. In the North Country, plenty of districts do hit that 40% threshold.
All students qualify for free meals, regardless of whether their families filled out the forms or not, and the schools in turn get funding for those free meals.
That's Tom Burns. He's the superintendent of BOCES in St. Lawrence County. Of the 18 districts he oversees, 12 qualify for CEP this year. But Burns says in the districts that don't qualify, including Lisbon, Harrisville, and Potsdam, some students who are eligible for free meals can get left behind because their families don't apply. He used to see that happen sometimes when he worked in the Parishville-Hopkinton School District.
For a variety of reasons, families then anyway did not always want to, fill out the form or turn the form in. And so we always suspected that the free and reduced price lunch numbers that we provided to the state were inaccurate and probably too low.
Meals were free for all students nationwide during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, but federal funding for that ended in the fall of 2022. This past spring, advocates made a big push to get free school meals for all added to the New York state budget. 9 other states have already made it happen, including 3 in the Northeast: Maine, Vermont, and Massachusetts. Burns says he's hopeful it may happen in New York when the next state budget is worked out.
Universal school meals did not get done in the state budget last year, but there was a significant push for it, and it almost made it through at the end of the day.
In the meantime, many low-income families will have to fill out free meal applications in school districts that don't qualify for CEP, like Canton, Colton, and Madrid. For a 4-person family, the family income cap for students to be eligible for free school meals is $39,000 a year. Lucy Grindon, North Country Public Radio.
The first American to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in 2020 is the first in line for the latest Pfizer vaccine to protect against new strains of the coronavirus. Sandra Lindsay is a nurse at Northwell Health on Long Island. She says getting these vaccinations keeps her and her family safe.
I'm grateful to be in this position, to be the first to be getting this new updated COVID vaccine, but more importantly, to be in a position to raise awareness about the importance of getting vaccinated.
Dr. Bruce Farber works with Lindsay at Northwell Health as Chief of Public Health. He says the new vaccine can prevent severe illness from the new strains of COVID that make up the majority of cases.
It's really not just a cold. It affects the heart. It can cause prolonged fatigue, brain fog, and the like. And so that's the reason we are pushing this vaccine for the public health.
Farber and Lindsay say the updated vaccine could prevent hospitalizations from surging this winter and decrease the burden on emergency rooms and healthcare workers. From iron to talc, the North Country is rich in minerals. The sprawling mines that extracted them were big business across the region from the late 1800s into the early 20th century. Today, we take a look back at the history and evolution of a mine in the southeastern Adirondacks that dug garnet, a dark red crystal prized for its hardness. Anna Williams-Bergen has this North Country at Work story.
In 1889, Henry Barton bought land near the summit of Gore Mountain for 10 cents an acre and started a garnet mine.
There were somewhere around 13 garnet mines in the Adirondacks, but Barton's had the mother lode on Gore Mountain. It was at one point the biggest garnet mine in the world.
That's Judy Brown. She and her son Jason Brown run the Gore Mountain Mineral and Gem Shop, where they make garnet jewelry and run tours of the original mine site. Judy says that Barton Mine was special not only due to its size, but also the unique shape of its garnet.
The garnet crystals that you see up there are kind of smushed.
That's because they formed before the Adirondacks even existed. As the mountains were taking shape, the heat and pressure of the formation reshaped the garnet. Judy says that it also made Gore's garnet harder than most, and therefore even more valuable.
The garnet that you find on Gore is much different than almost any place else in the world.
In the beginning, miners chipped away at the rock by hand using pickaxes and shovels. The rocks were extracted, loaded onto carts, and taken by horse off the mountain. The raw garnet was then taken by train to Philadelphia, where it was processed into sandpaper.
After 1920, we got a new technology called dynamite, and that changed the industry drastically.
That's Jason Brown. He says that advances like dynamite and steam shovels allowed miners to work faster. Barton Mines also built a mill in the 1920s and started processing their own garnet. The mine became a major economic player in the community. It employed about 300 people, and Judy says that a community grew up around it, right on the slopes of Gore Mountain itself.
They had a firehouse, they had a lodge, they have homes that are still being used up there.
Business stayed good throughout the 20th century. Garnet is prized for use in cutting and smoothing technologies that do all kinds of things. Here's Jason Brown.
The red shell on the inside of peanuts is removed by garnet.
In the early 1980s, Barton Mines moved its operations to the nearby Ruby Mountain in North River. They've been there ever since. Today, Barton employs about 75 people, which Judy says is a big deal in the area. Barton mines garnet for industrial uses like water jet and sandblasting.
It's a very important industry because we don't have a lot of industry around North Creek.
By the time Barton stopped mining at Gore and moved to Ruby Mountain, they had dug a massive pit over 100 feet deep at Gore. Today, that pit is a historical site. Since it hasn't been an active mine in years, nature is starting to come back. Trees have grown up and frogs jump in the ponds. It's also home to the Gore Mountain Mineral and Gem Shop where the Browns work.
You have a 120-foot wall on one side, 3 gorgeous ponds. It is not a bad office.
Barton left the Gore Mountain site due to mining safety regulations, not because they'd taken all the garnet out.
This is the largest garnet deposit possibly in the world, and it's still there.
Today, you can tour the preserved mine and even look for some garnet of your own.
You can find the largest garnet crystals in the world there. They're up to basketball size or bigger.
You can tour the old Barton mine pit at Gore Mountain every weekend until Columbus Day. For North Country Public Radio's North Country at Work project, I'm Anna Williams-Bergen in North Creek.
Again, the old Barton Mine Pit is still open for tours until Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day. Witness a slice of North Country history there. North Country at Work is a long-running project of NCPR that collects photos and stories about the work history of our region. To view the collection of work photos, go to ncpr.org/work. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. One quick note, our map of murals across the North Country is A, super cool, and B, it's available right now on our website. Just click on the banner right in the middle of the homepage, ncpr.org. Music today by Caitlin Scholl of Lake Placid and Animal Crackers of Potsdam. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.